Hi everyone, welcome to episode 33 of Novel Knits. This is also Vlogmas week 4. I am doing it. It is a little crazy. For these weekly episodes this month, there are no show notes, so if you have any questions, just reach out with a comment and I can definitely tell you any pattern names or any yarns or anything you may have questions on. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I've had a few new subscribers, so welcome. And for those of you who always come back, thank you so much. We're still in, let's see, it's December 21st today. So it is Tuesday and yeah, we're getting close, you guys. So I have a couple more days to finish some stuff up. We'll see how this ends up. I'm not beating myself up at this point. I think I got most of the important stuff done, but I'm still in a good place. I do think my last episode was a little chaotic, so thank you for those of you who hung on with that one. I really felt like that was a reflection of the inside of my brain right now, like just a lot of craziness. I'm going to try to be more relaxed this time around, and yeah, I'm just going to probably do small videos daily or as I have things to share and show, and hopefully this will be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more, I'm gonna try to slow down a little bit as I talk, and yeah. So I have 2 things I've finished since the last time we spoke. I think I'm working on 3 things right now, soon to be 4 probably. So I'm going to quickly show you what I have off the needles and ready to be wrapped. And then I thought I would give you a little tip on what I use for wrapping for my kids. Not wrapping, but tags, just in case you need something like this in your life. So I finished the Holly Jolly hat by Jody Brown of the Grocery Girls. So when I made this, I talked to you all about how the yarn had been in storage for a long time, wound up, and it was a little kinky, and I thought that blocking it would help a lot, and it really did. Blocking also really stretched this hat out, so I really hope that my daughter still likes it. I think it's a little big, but she can pull the brim down. It covers up some of the color work, but I think this will still work for her. If I were gonna do it again, I would just start the decreases right at the top of the color work here. And then I did make this pom-pom again. I really like the pom-pom. I think it's gonna work. It just did turn out a little bit bigger than I was hoping for. So the details on this, I'll go through them quickly. Twisted rib, 1x1 rib. This one I did not do twisted ribbing. I did regular ribbing, 1x1 regular ribbing. This is mosaic color work. The yarn is flock fibers, Snow Much Fun with 2 coordinating minis. This was like, I think 2 years ago, what the Grocery Girls released around the holidays. And I think it's nice. I think it's just, I think we'll never see that bottom color work, which is fine because there's another one and it works. So it's really cute. I think my daughter will like it. Really hope. She doesn't always like everything that I make. She likes the idea of it, but she doesn't always love everything I make. My son, on the other hand, with the exception of one sweater, he loves everything. So, and she did ask for this, so we'll see. The other thing that I finished, you guys, I have feelings about this. He's cute, but he's a weird one. I finished, make no mistake, it's a gnome by Imagine Landscapes, which I believe is Sarah Shira. Oh my gosh, his nose is a little funky. But that's okay. This is from my friend Julie. So I finished the hat like in June. I really enjoyed making the hat. It's great. And then I made his little body. There's a little color work on his body. And then made the bottom. I didn't have any anything to put on the bottom to keep him from tipping over. I put some stuffing in him, obviously. My son recently gave up a new stuffed animal, so I pulled the stuffing out of there and I used that to stuff the hat and most of the body. And then I have lavender sachets in all of my yarn, and I put that on the bottom of here so he smells good. He smells like lavender, and it helps put a little weight on the bottom. So that's what I did because I didn't have any beads or weighted pellets or anything. So, and it worked. I mean, he's small enough that it worked. He is smaller than I expected, which is good. Because when I made this hat, I was like, that's a really big hat. That almost looks like it could go on a person's head. Not really. I think I was a little off. But yeah, this was all scrap yarn. I don't really remember what any of it is. Yeah, he's cute, isn't he? And this is not the beard from the pattern. So the Make No Mistake beard was beyond me. She has a video. She walks you through it. I still couldn't get it. I sort of gave it like a very half effort. And I just thought, that's too fiddly for me. I am not doing that. I did make the nose a little smaller. Clearly I had some trouble attaching it, but it's okay. He is fine. And Julie is going to love him because Julie thinks everything is kind of funny. So she will like him a lot. But yeah, this is not the beard. What I did is I basically did fringe under the cap, and then I used a darning needle to just kind of fray the beard a little bit. My mother-in-law made gnomes. She crochets. She made all the grandkids a gnome this year. So I should have brought them down. Maybe I'll show them next time. They're really cute. They're cuter than this guy. But some of their beards she frayed like this, and some she braided. So I just kind of took her, I just stole from how she did a beard because I just was not, there were loops, there were knots. It was more complex than my brain could manage right now. Maybe in the future, I could do it. And I think if I wasn't on a time crunch, I would have spent a little bit more time trying to figure out that beard. However, he is not going to be my last gnome. I really, really enjoyed making it. It did not take a long time. I mean, probably doing this colorwork hat in the summer took a couple of hours maybe. And then, I mean, this took a couple hours. This is where it gets fiddly. So the more, and I'm not great with finishing details. That is going to be something I focus on more next year, is finishing my knits better than how I have been. I tend to be someone who, I like my checklist. I like to check things off. And not that I don't go for quality, but sometimes the finishing thing is like, I'm done. I want to just check it off. I want to take a quick picture and move on. So for next year, one thing I want to do is make sure I take more care with my finishing, although he's still so cute. And then I would like to work harder at making better finished object photos. I think that's a place where I could put more care into. And yeah, it's for Instagram or Ravelry. You know, it's really, they're for me. They're not for any other reason. But I also think it's something I can, instead of just throwing it on the ground and snapping a picture, I can put a little bit more time and effort into that. But so I suggested that she name him Norm. He looks like a Norm to me. He's very cute. But yeah, so we're expecting a big snowstorm right before the holidays. So I was planning on dropping off a little gift basket for her family in the next couple days, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to because Julie lives about 25 minutes away from me, and I just don't think that drive is going to be doable with the weather that we have coming in. So I am probably going to wait until after the holidays, unfortunately. But he's so cute. It'll be fine. And I know she'll be around because we used to work at the same place. I don't work there anymore, but they always get the week before Christmas and New Year's off. So I should have time to drop it off sometime after the holidays, or after Christmas. I shouldn't say the holidays because there are more holidays in that time. Okay, and then I thought I would just show you, my kids are almost 12 and 14. They still get their presents from Santa on Christmas morning. So I just wanted to show you, because this is the third year in a row that I've used these tags, because, you know, they're little detectives when they're young, and they say like, oh, why does Santa have the same handwriting as mom and dad? Or why is Santa's handwriting so much like the Easter bunnies? So I found these tags, and I still use them, and every year, and it says to and from Santa, and then you can, and they're free editable favor tags on Etsy from 505 Designs, And you can put in your child's name and then print them out and cut them out, and then I tape them on their gifts. So this is how it comes. And then, yeah, it's 505 Designs Inc. I never remember. I always just type in free from Santa tags in Google. It took a long time today for me to find them, but I did find them. So yeah, so there's 3 colors. There's this light blue, green, and then pink. So I have 2 kids. So I usually just do one color for one kid, another color for another kid. And then we have 2 dogs between myself and my parents who live one house away from us. So I was gonna show you, like, PP is Penelope. It only accommodates so many characters. So if you have like a Genevieve, it may not work for you, or you may have to hyphenate or do something. But if you have like a Claire and a Milo, or not terribly long names, it'll work. So I just wanted to share that in case it would be helpful to any of you for the future, or if you want to share it with your children, for your grandchildren. I don't know. It's nice, especially if you have kids like mine who they just always ask questions. All right, well, I'm gonna stop it here for now. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow. Maybe I'll have something else done. We'll see. Okay, I'm a little later than I intended to be. Sorry about that. So Christmas and Christmas Eve and Christmas Day came and went, so we're already after Christmas, and I am going to record this really quickly this morning and try to get this posted for you guys today. Sorry about that. Things were busy. I'm not sure why that surprised me, but yeah, it was a really busy time. We did not have the weather that the weathermen were predicting, and my goodness, if I could be wrong as many times as the meteorologists are wrong and still have a job, man, life would be good. But yeah, there was supposed to be this big snowstorm coming, so there was a chance that we were not going to travel to see my brother for Christmas and his family. But yeah, we got like a dusting of snow. It was cold and it was windy, but yeah, it wasn't like what the people in New York are dealing with. And you know, if you guys are in areas that were affected, oh my gosh, that's terrible. But we did not, and they closed school the night before, and we kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and yeah, nothing. It is very early in the morning. This is like my hair before I do it, so apologies for that. I'm trying my best here to get this done. I really, arbitrary goals, want to do 5 episodes this month, so I'm making it happen. But yeah, we had a nice Christmas, and all of my handmade things went over nicely, I think. And yeah, I didn't get everything done, but I kind of got to a point where I knew I wasn't going to get everything done. But I finished everything I wanted to the day after Christmas, so I'll take it. And they were for my dad and my son, so we are good. I feel fulfilled. I feel like I did my Christmas cheer, brought my Christmas cheer, I should say. I think next year I don't think I'm gonna do less. Maybe I'll do less. I'm not sure. We'll see. But one thing I'm for sure gonna do is try to sprinkle some Christmas makes in earlier in the year, because hats are easy and fast, but I mean, they're not instant. Sock tubes are easy and faster, but they're not instant. So that's the lesson I learned this year, is if I want to do it, that's fine, but give myself a little bit more time. This is a mug I got recently when I was traveling for work. I had a stop off in Arizona, which I have spent time in Arizona, but I've never been to the Grand Canyon, but I just like the size and shape of this mug. Then I also finished, which I did gift, so I won't be able to show you, but out of a book, there is a pattern, and it is actually, I bought this book for 2 reasons. It is the Susan B. Anderson Kids Knitting Workshop. I bought this book because My daughter at one point thought she might want to learn how to knit. It hasn't happened yet, but that does not mean it won't. I hope one day she decides to. And then the other reason was for this pattern. So I made this snowman. He is cute. He's more of a cream color than white. I used Cascade worsted yarn held with leftover mohair that was pretty white, and then I gave him a green scarf with mohair. He had blue thread for eyes that I embroidered on a white, or not a white, a red mouth, and then I actually have little carrot noses. Don't ask me why. I'm not super crafty, but I had a package of little carrot noses, and I hot glue gunned a carrot nose on him. He was adorable, or she, whatever. They were adorable, and I was able to give that to my sister-in-law on Christmas Day. So yeah, but this is this was a really easy pattern, super duper easy, and there are a lot of like fun beginner patterns in this book. I've thought about getting rid of this one, but then there are just like the cutest things that I decide not to. Well, so this is another thing that it's cat or owl toy. That's so cute. And they're simple because they're for kids. I'll just show you one more. And like very basic stuff. So like she's got a basic hat, a basic cowl, a basic scarf, headband. So it's a really, even though it says kids, I mean, it's just the instructions are very like spelled out, but it's good basic knitting book, and that snowman was really, really adorable and super easy. Okay, so when I knew I wasn't gonna make it, I started prioritizing my kids' socks because I didn't have anything for Milo knitted. I looked at my husband and just said, you're getting socks for your birthday, and yeah, that's just where I started to go. I should have made everybody one sock and said you're gonna get your second one after Christmas, but hindsight, it's a thing, and I didn't have it. So I finished Claire's first. So I like to watch. Do any of you guys have Christmas movies you like to watch, or holiday movies of any kind? My favorite one is It's a Wonderful Life. I love it. I have to watch it every year. I don't know why. I do know why. I mean, Jimmy Stewart, and I don't know, he's a nice guy. It's a wonderful life. I don't know, I love it. So I watched It's a Wonderful Life, and I started it Christmas Eve morning, I finished it Christmas Eve night as I was finishing up these socks, and then I had time, so I was like, well, I've never watched White Christmas or Miracle on 34th Street, so I chose White Christmas, and I got about half hour in, and I did not like it. I bet if I would have stuck with it, maybe I would have enjoyed it, but I kind of got to the point where if you know it when they're on the train, and I was like, I'm just annoyed. I don't like it. So maybe I'll try it again sometime. And then we ended up turning on that new Knives Out Glass Onion movie, and we watched that for a while until my husband fell asleep. So that was my Christmas Eve. And then I had to make an egg casserole. So these are Claire's socks. The yarn is Knitterly Things Joyful Noise. I just used Miss Babs Naked for the cuff. And then when I got to the heel, I realized I could cut in at red. It is not a perfect match, but I think it looks good. And then I just did the stripes to finish it off. So they match pretty well. There's one of I think I just screwed up this toe a little bit, but it's fine. They're really cute. She really loves them. As soon as she saw me knitting them, she's like, oh, I really like those. So I was like, they're yours. There you go. So then she got her socks. I have not blocked them or anything. I literally finished them, woven the ends, wrapped them in tissue paper, and put them under the tree. And then Milo got these socks on Christmas morning. These are Kirby Werby, Rhinebeck pajama party. We'll always have Rhinebeck. It was apparently a Rhinebeck color. I got this yarn off eBay, and this is just some leftovers that I had, and I thought it matched this this brown really nicely. And then on the heel, I did the same thing where I went in on the color that kind of matched, and then same thing at the toe. This one of these toes is not great. And I told him that if it bothered him, I would fix it. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah. I really can't see it bothering him. He's just a pretty easy kid. I don't know if you can even see. There's just some trouble. I don't think it's gonna bother him. But if it does, I have enough of this yarn left over that I can cut out the toe and do it again. Not a big deal. The weird thing about knitting off of sock tubes is it doesn't matter, I've learned, with the toe. If you add in a new color or keep the regular color, when you unravel, you're unraveling the stitches to a point where your first stitch is in, like the yarn is coming from that stitch. So it creates a hole because it's like you've been knitting around one way and then you are going the other way. So it makes a little bit of a hole. I just try to pull really, really tight. If I'm doing a different color, then I will go back and kind of stitch it up a little bit. But when you're using the same color, it just kind of is a little messy. I don't really have that problem with the heel, and I don't have that problem with the cuff. Or do I? I can't remember with the cuffs. But yeah, I only really noticed the problem with the toe, and it's just how it is. So sometimes I have more success than others. But I think this is okay. I think it's gonna work. Yeah, this is the messy part. I don't know if you can even really see. But yeah, it's just a little lumpy and bumpy, and I tried to like weave in that hole, and it just doesn't look great. But he is the easiest going kid, and he really does like these. I think this is a really fun colorway. I really like it. It's perfect for an almost 12-year-old boy. And I did use, both of these tubes were 64 stitches, so my son is officially out of the 54 stitch sock range. These ones are pretty loose. Luckily my daughter has huge feet, and I think they'll fit her and stretch really well, but like, yeah, they're just a little bit looser gauge. And this one, luckily for my son, is a bit tighter of a gauge. Like, I don't know if you can even tell just looking at them. Like I don't think they were cranked by the same person, but you can see there's just a little bit more room on here. So I really picked the right one for my son, which was nice. But that's an issue I've noticed with cranked socks. I've gotten socks cranked by 3 different people and 3 different machines. And a lot of times I do find that the gauge is a little bit looser. So they fit a little bit looser, which is fine for adults, but it's a little tricky sometimes for kids. Okay, so that was all under the tree on Christmas morning. And then on Christmas Day, I finished my son's hat and my dad's socks. So not too bad. I'm okay with how this all worked out. So for my son, I made him the curio hat. And I think this turned out really nice. I posted this on Instagram, and a lot of people really thought it was really nice. It is really pretty. I don't know that he loves it. But I do. I love it. Little pom-pom. It fits me. I'm gonna make one for myself. Oh, see, this is the back. Let me put that on again. Can't always tell with hats, but so yeah, I'm gonna make one of these for me in a different color palette. I think it turned out really good. A lot going on right now. There we go. Yeah, this is nice. So I used Knit Picks Brava worsted and then some Cascade worsted, which is the gray. This is a really simple pattern to make a really beautiful and effective hat. This one feels a little, I found this Knit Picks Brava. I made 3 hats with it this winter for my dad my brother-in-law, and for Milo. And I find it's a little stiff. Like even when you block it, I think it's a little thick for a worsted, so it tends to make a little bit thicker of fabric, but I don't mind. And this turned out really nice. So I just told Milo it's a really warm hat. It'll keep his head warm. He got a couple other hats for Christmas, so I know this isn't going to be his like go-to, but if he ever doesn't want it, I'll take it because it fits my head. And then finally, I finished my dad's socks. Last night, we watched the new movie. I've been watching a lot of TV lately. I will say I've watched a lot of TV the last couple days. What did we watch last night? Okay, so I went on Netflix and I know I watched it in the past, but I rewatched this series called Safe by Harlan Coben. And I know I watched it before and I started it and I realized I didn't really remember it. So I was like, well, I'll just put that on. So I finished a lot of my knitting yesterday watching that. And last night we watched a new movie on Disney called Strange World, which was fine. I don't know. My daughter really enjoyed it. My son disappeared. My son and my husband disappeared at one point in time and I just was doing my knitting. So anyway, we watched that. And I finished my dad's socks. So here they are. And this is Rose Hill Yarns in the Barn Owl colorway. And then I used Leo and Roxy, the basics in navy. I think it's Queen's Navy for the cuffs and heels. I have to say, I did not love using the Leo and Roxy basics. It could be that it was such dark yarn that I was having a hard time. I had to rip out a whole cuff and heel because it would slip out of my needles. It also could have been the needle. It wasn't my favorite sock needle that I was using. I had much more luck doing the toes. But yeah, I'm gonna give these to my dad today. So yeah, they just turned out really nice. The heels on these are really good. This is soft yarn. I think he'll like it, but that's why the cuffs are so short. I think I only did like 12 or 15 rounds. I was tired of this yarn at that point in time. So I did tell my dad, because I showed him the tubes without the toes, and I said, if these are slipping down and you need longer cuffs, just let me know and I'll do that for you. So here they are. They turned out really nice. So yeah, today the gnome and the socks are going to be delivered, and then I am done with my holiday knitting. And I don't know what my plan will be for next year. I've got a long time to figure it out. And yeah, so my plan for this week is my sweaters. I want to finish, I hope to finish at least 2 sweaters this week. They've been on hold for about the past 4 to 5 weeks, and I'm just ready to work on them again. I'm also hoping to maybe finish my Advent socks this week. Those went on hold when I had to finish all these gifts. And with the new year is going to come new cast-ons, and I'm really excited. I'm going to be casting on this Let's Stay Home socks. I think that's what they're called, by Nancy Wheeler. I have this great yarn from the Creative Knitter that I have been holding on to for a long time. It's a Brothers and Sisters colorway. I think it's called like Hello Ojai or something. I don't remember, but it's a definite, like, if you ever watch the show Brothers and Sisters, that was one of my favorite shows. And it's a gorgeous colorway, and I've wanted to knit with it for a long time, and I've been hoarding it. So I'm going to cast those on. Those will be my first socks of 2023. I have about 17 sweaters I want to cast on. So I think what I'm going to do is cast on a couple heavier weight sweaters for the winter to work on. So a couple, I have a bulky sweater, the Metropolis by Tanis Lavallee, that I would like to cast on. That'll be just like a staple turtleneck bulky sweater. And then maybe either the Easy V or the Ilia by Caitlin Hunter. I have about 3 Caitlin Hunter sweaters that I want to cast on right away. Also, did you guys see that new Woolen Pine sweater that came out that is the cable jacket? I can't remember the name of it. It stopped me in my tracks. I have been looking for a while for a great cable cardigan. I had one before I knit. I have pictures of me wearing it when Milo was a baby, and we went to this pumpkin farm, and it was a perfect sweater. It was a beautiful like oatmeal color. It had beautiful brown buttons. It had cable and lace in the front. And I've been looking for something that feels like that. The wool and pine one does not, but I love it. So it has been in the back of my head for a couple months that like I really want to make a cable garment in 2023. And as soon as I saw that jacket, I was like, there it is. That's what I'm making. I'm not gonna rush it. I'm going to take it slow. I'll start when I want to start, but I want it ready by next winter. So I think it's gonna be kind of my like opus or like my capstone project for the year, where I'll put a little work on it every now and then. This could change, but that's just my thought. The other thing I really like about that design is when it came out, it showed it in Farmer's Daughter worsted weight yarn, which is a pricey yarn, right? And then they gave you 2 other options and had the samples knit in those as well. And one was Knit Picks worsted, probably just, I don't know. I got it, whatever it is. And then Lion Brand. So like those are 2 much more affordable price points. And because you need a lot of yarn for that jacket. So yeah, that was my one kind of yarn splurge was, and it was Knit Picks. So it wasn't like I spent $400 on Farmer's Daughter yarn, which I'm sure would be lovely and beautiful and light, but that is not in my budget. So I like the budget friendly option. And I just fell in love with it, and I just want it in that's definitely going to be a product knit for me because I don't adore cabling. And I've talked in the past here before that I am very much a process knitter. I love the process of knitting. Like that's what makes me happiest. I really haven't been reading anything. I listened to that same Curse of Blood and Something book I've been listening to on my walks, but yeah, I just haven't been reading a ton lately. It's just not been a priority with the holidays. We spend a lot of time with family over the holidays, and I have one quick story about Christmas morning, and then I am going to sign off, and then we'll talk more next week. But I need to give my kids a little bit of a shout out. Last year when we woke up on Christmas morning, our daughter Claire had she'd gotten up early and put post-it notes all over our hallway upstairs. And she's pretty artistic, so they were like pretty. It's not like she just put post-it notes. They like had like Christmas sayings and trees and snowflakes, and it was really adorable, and it was cute. So this year she recruited her brother, and they woke up an hour early before us on Christmas morning and sacrificed one of my son's stuffed animals to put snow, the fiberfill stuffing all around our house. They made paper chains and had streamers and cut out snowflakes, and they really decorated our house, and a sign that said Merry Christmas. And I just thought, I'm so lucky to have kids who thought to do something so nice for us on Christmas morning as well. So it was very sweet, and we had a lot of fun. Yeah, my kids love Christmas, and I do too. I'm glad it's over. I'm gonna try not to put so much stress on myself next year. Sorry about my dog. I'm talking so she thinks it's time to play. But anyway, I hope you're well. I know this time of year can be hard. So if you're having a hard time, I hope that hanging out with me today was helpful. And I will be back for one more episode at the end of the year to close out the make-alongs, close out the year, and then I'm going to take a little break, and then we'll have some prize winners, and we'll get into the new year. I'm really excited. So I'll see you next time. Bye.